Welcome back to LandGate's channel where we talk all things green energy and real estate. Today we're tackling one of the most common topics we get questions about, solar leasing. That's right, we're going to break it all down and answer the most frequently asked questions so you can decide if solar leasing is the right move for you. Let's jump in. Question 1 is, what is solar leasing? Instead of installing solar panels on your land, solar leasing involves renting your land to a solar company so that they can install the solar panels and then sell the electricity produced to the local utility company. When you lease your land for a solar farm, you receive regular annual lease payments from the solar developer in exchange for allowing the use of your land. You get to contribute to clean energy production without spending a dime. Another question we commonly hear from property owners is what factors go into how valuable my land is for a solar lease. There are many factors that determine whether or not your land is valuable for a solar lease, such as the size of your property, distance to electrical infrastructure like transmission lines and substations, topography, and state and federal incentives, just to name a few. Generally speaking, the larger your property is and the closer it is to electrical infrastructure, the more likely it is to be leased for a solar farm. Land that is good for solar panels is also relatively flat and not located within a flood zone. You can see how many buildable acres your land has for a solar farm, its slope, distance to electrical infrastructure, and estimated lease value by getting a free LandGate property report. Simply find your land on the map and click the Solar Value Index for more details. Next up is, how does solar leasing work? Here's how it goes. It starts with the option period, which is the 1 to 5 year term at the start of the lease that allows the solar company to do due diligence to ensure that they can begin construction. Next, the solar developer designs the solar farm and the solar panels are installed during the construction phase. This phase typically lasts from 2 to 4 months. After this, the lease enters the operations phase, which is when the solar panels are actively producing energy. It lasts from 20 to 40 years, depending on what you negotiate with the solar developer. Once the lease ends, the developer may negotiate the right to extend the lease, or the project will enter the decommissioning phase, which is when the solar developer removes all of the panels and the supporting structures. The fourth frequently asked question is, how do I get paid leasing my land for a solar farm? Generally, for utility-scale solar farms, the developer will pay you $10 to $40 per acre per year. Following the option period, if the developer elects to enter into a formal lease and begin construction, you can be paid between $700 and $2,000 per acre per year for 25 to 40 years, depending on what is negotiated in the lease. Next up is, what can I do with my land during a solar lease? Usually, solar developers will allow you to continue farming, running cattle, or carrying out other activities on your land during the option/development periods. If they elect to begin construction, you may be restricted from further activities that would interfere with the construction, development, and operations phases of the solar lease, but this depends on the specific contract. Keep in mind that everything in a solar lease is negotiable. Finally, another common question we hear from landowners is, how can I lease my land for a solar farm? If you'd like to receive lease offers for a solar farm, consider listing your property for lease on LandGate's marketplace for free. Numerous solar developers across the country use LandGate to find suitable properties and contact interested landowners with offers. It's a great way to be proactive and explore the possibility to monetize your land by leasing it for a solar farm. And that's it for today's FAQ session on solar leasing. I hope you found this valuable and learned something new. If you've got more questions or you're still on the fence about solar leasing, drop your questions in the comments below.